There we go. Check, check, check. There we go. Oh man, Last of Us, Last of Us, Last of Us. What an episode of The Last of Us. Pin this message. All right. We're going to start with this first question up here from Tim Johnson, right? Um, Leave more comments and I will answer them. This is what we're on right here for people that are joining in a little bit right here. Tim Johnson's comment right here. Hold on, I'm trying to see if. Okay, everything's running good. Okay, so Tim Johnson said, amazing what can happen when they stick to what happened in the game nearly word for word and shot for shot. All right, so here's the thing about The Last of Us, right? I don't know if this statement is 100% true. I don't think they have to stick to it completely. I don't think that. I really don't. So I think this is what happened. The original, the person that made the video games, Neil Druckmann, he's the one that wrote and directed this episode 6. And I think that was the difference. I think he just has a better feel for the characters than Craig, who was writing the rest of the season as the main writer. But it's not like hey, he made Chernobyl, okay? Craig made Chernobyl. He's a boss. But it seems like he don't really get the characters of The Last of Us too well. And so, yeah, so Tim right here, once again, he said that amazing what can happen when they stick to what happened in the game, nearly word for word and shot for shot. I will say, though, that The Last of Us is such a good narrative, such a good game that, yeah, like recreating exactly what was in the video game does work well because the narrative and the direction and all in the video game was already so amazing. So I think when they do that, I think when The Last of Us is at its best in the show, what it's doing is essentially adding on to what's already in the game, not necessarily changing things, expanding things. Like when we saw Joel as a kid and his dad, and then you have that cycle of, abuse and things like that. And then that replaying in Joel's own life, like stuff like that. Keep doing that. Keep adding to the game. Stop trying to change it so much. Add to it, right? Bill and Frank episode when they added to their characters. Keep doing that, please. Please. So now we're going here. Second comment by Say Luke 99. Great episode. Pedro Pascal brings so much to the show, and the fact that he's gone shows that Bella Ramsey cannot carry the show. I disagree with that 100%. I disagree with this take 100%. If anything, I feel like this episode shows that Bella can actually carry the show without Joel. Problem is the script has been failing her. When Bella Ramsey gets handed a good script, okay, she has been killing it every single time, right? Oh, what's up, Candace? I just saw your comment. Candace said, I agree. The narrative of the game kept you hooked. For sure. For sure. I mean, Naughty Dog as a company always makes like the absolute best narrative-based games ever. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just facts. And so, okay, yeah. So GB just said Bella can carry for sure. Bella's a force. Yeah, so getting back to that. So Bella, we saw in this episode, in episode 6, how great she was as Ellie, being able to see how she went from her like being younger into being her older self all in one episode, and being able to see the nuance of all of that, being able to nail all the emotional points, all that kind of stuff was just amazing. Like, she killed it. And so I don't think she needs Pedro Pascal. I'm sad for her that this season Neil Druckmann and Haley weren't the main writers for a lot of the episodes, so the script kept failing her. Hopefully next season that's not the case, even though I don't want to spoil anything. I don't want to spoil nothing for y'all that haven't played the game. But I hope next season she's able to have some better writing to be able to portray Ellie in the right way. I'm actually dropping a YouTube breakdown of Ellie's character. It's actually on my Patreon right now if you want to check that out, but it's coming out on YouTube in a couple of days because I really had to dive in and talk about it because I felt, yeah, I do think they butchered her character, but it's not Bella's fault. It's not Bella's fault at all. Okay, let's see here. Let me just make sure. Checking the comments. Okay. Now let's get to this third comment right here. I'm not sure how to say this person's username. Saying this when season 1 episode 3 exists is crazy. So what I had said was that this episode, season 2 episode 6, was the best episode of the entire series, and they think season 1 episode 3 is the best episode. For y'all that don't know, that is the Bill and Frank episode. And I just wanted to bring this up because I gotta say, yes, that episode is a classic. It was amazing. I still think this is the best of the series because it has to deal with Ellie and Joel, and this is Ellie and Joel at their best. Like it's a matter like Pedro and Bella can easily get Emmys for this episode alone. You feel me? So it's this episode is the best for me, and I was almost crying at the end, like tears were coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like that, crazy. GB says, I was wondering why does Ellie saying she'll try to forgive Joel result in such ferocious revenge? I'm a big fan of the season, but just struggled with understanding that. Okay. I don't want to spoil anything for people that haven't played the game, so let me think of how to answer this question. I was wondering why does Ellie say she'll try to forgive Joel result in such ferocious revenge? I'm a big fan of the season. I'll say this because I feel like this was insinuated in this specific episode with the through line of that line Joel's dad said to him about do better than me, right? And then we see Joel, do what he did to the Fireflies, and just like Joel's dad overdid it, right? That was Joel overdoing it when he attacked the Fireflies, all right? And so Joel, now it's Ellie's turn. Is Ellie going to do better than Joel? That's the question. And I feel like even though they were talking about parenting, I think it also has to do with violence and anger, right? And is Ellie going to snap, right? Is she going to snap like Joel's dad? Is she going to snap like Joel? And that's the question to ponder, right? So thanks for bringing that up because that was, I liked answering that question for sure. That I can't wait to make my breakdown of this episode. I'm gonna try to get it up tomorrow. All that editing takes a while. GB followed that up saying, like it seems she should still understand Nora. I disagree with that. I can't 100% answer this without getting the spoiler territory. So I'm sorry I can't answer that one, but find out and see. Okay, going back to these questions real quick. All right. So yes, season 1, episode 3, the Bill and Frank episode is a classic. Still think this one is better. At Drone says Neil and Haley should direct and write more episodes. Just saying. So I was bringing that up. I brought that up, right, as far as them being the main writers of this episode and how much better it was. And I think they were also the main writers of every episode in season 1, I believe. Poor Craig. Craig is who was writing most of this season. I kind of already talked about this one. I don't have too much more to say. I was going to get to it when I brought this up, but hey, I was rambling. But yeah, no, I agree. I think that either they have to continue to be, on top of things, or, maybe find somebody else who understands the characters a little better, or their perspective of the characters is a little more on point. Because I saw that there was some interview. And Craig was saying that he saw Dina and Ellie's relationship as a parent-child relationship. Huh? What, bro? Like, nah, fam. What are you talking about? Oh my God. Hey, appreciate that, GB. Appreciate that. Um, okay. Beluga 180 says, putting the porch scene in this episode was baffling. The emotional gut punch for where it is in the game is now gone. Okay, I can talk about this without spoiling things for anybody. So that's why I wanted to bring this up. So in the game, y'all, for y'all that haven't played, the porch scene between Joel and Ellie happens at the end of the game. So it isn't until the end of the game, after you go through this whole journey with Ellie, that you get a sense of closure with this flashback to Joel and everything like that. And hey, you saw the scene. And so I will say this. For the episode itself, I feel like it worked perfectly. Like if you're to look at episode 6 just by itself, I feel like it was perfectly done, right? I will say it did create a problem for season 3. It created a problem for the very end of the show, absolutely, because the conclusion is no longer there. All right, like the emotional conclusion is gone. It's been used already, so that is a season 3 problem that they're gonna have to address. I agree with that. So I don't think it was baffling because I feel like it did work perfectly well the way that it was utilized for the episode. But I get it when you zoom out. They did create a problem for themselves. I think they can still find a way to have everything come full circle without it being the porch scene. At the same time, everything did just come full circle with the porch scene a little bit. That's going to be a rough one. So I did want to bring that up because I wanted to acknowledge that even though I love the porch scene, everybody's loving the porch scene, its placement is kind of a little iffy if you've played the game. So we'll have to see what they do with that. Last one here. Scooch this up for a second. Doug TGA 757 says, it was a good episode, but I really think that Ellie told the psychiatrist lady the truth. She was all I might have wrote that wrong. I think they were saying they were mad that they told the psychiatrist lady the truth. She was all calmed and reassured about what Joel told her, and then Ellie blew that all up just because she was mad at Joel. Handle your business with him in private. There's no need for this lady to suffer as a result. Gotta say, big disagree there. Ellie telling her was Ellie doing her a kindness, okay? Because Ellie was seeing how history was repeating itself, and just like Joel had lied to Ellie to placate her, right? Joel was doing the same thing to what is the psychiatrist's name? I am blanking on her name. Oh my gosh. What is her name? If anybody knows, my bad, I'm blanking. Anyway, told her Ellie wanted to spare her from that lie, right? Ellie wanted her to know the truth. And so, yeah, I don't think that Ellie made her suffer. I think the truth sets you free, but it hurts, right? It might hurt at first. And I feel like for the episode itself, that part was just so cool because this episode was about cycles, the cycles of pain and the cycles of escape, just cycles of abuse, generational trauma, all those cycles. And Ellie was now a part of that cycle. Joel put her in that cycle by making her a part of the lie and essentially making her ask, to lie to, my bad, I'm forgetting her name, the psychiatrist. And Ellie broke that cycle by telling her the truth. So thematically, that worked extremely well, very, very well. I thought the whole Eugene thing they added in, all that was amazing. So I disagree. I don't think she should have told her in private. I think it was taking a stand, telling the truth, breaking that cycle, right? So yeah, I like that a lot. And those were the only comments that I had pointed out that were interesting to me, like that, I wanted to answer in this live. Shout out to GB for, their questions that they had for me in this live too. Appreciate you. Hey, next week is the finale. We're going to tap into that. My breakdown of this whole entire episode is going to be coming out tomorrow. Hopefully, I hope it really doesn't get pushed back to Wednesday. That's too late. But this editing, y'all, the editing takes forever. What else? Yeah, but I'll just keep making all the content on TikTok, Instagram. You could tap in there. But yeah, y'all, I loved episode 6. It's my favorite episode of the whole entire series. But let's get to the season 2 finale next week. All right? I'll see y'all then. I'll hop back on live after that. Till next time, y'all.